must have been love, but it's over now.
I'm going to start and end this with Dier's an egg, Jose wrong subs, and we were dead to about the 80th minute once again. Hello and welcome to another episode of Hotspurs, and today I'll be talking about that 1-0 defeat at home against Chelsea. If you're new to the channel, please remember to like this video, comment you thought the game below, and hit that subscribe button. Very soon we will be doing live podcasts on the channel. I actually can't wait for this to actually get my Venom out live to you guys, talking all things Tottenham, so that should be fabulous. So make sure you subscribe because you don't want to miss them. I suppose we probably should start with the lineup. Lineup comes out, to be honest with you, I'm alright about it. We see that we have Lloris in goal with a back four this time that consists of Serge Aurier, Toby, Dier and Davies. Obviously whatever happened at half-time against Liverpool has obviously been brushed under the carpet as Serge Aurier starts in this game, which I am quietly pleased about. I hope tonight that Toby can steer Dier in the right direction and not cause him to kick a Chelsea player up in the air at the wrong time, because I feel like that will be something that could cost us tonight. So I recorded this before the match actually started, and it actually turned out that Dier did kebab someone in the leg. So we're living not so lavish tonight. And obviously Davies, I hope Davies just doesn't bomb forward and put a cross in, because we all know how that's going to end. But then, in front of those two, we see that there is a Sissoko and a Højbjerg. Obviously, we know that Sissoko will naturally come across and cover Serge Aurier when he bombs forward. I feel like that's definitely going to happen tonight. And then, obviously, Højbjerg is going to try be in there to try and hassle and cut out the passes that Chelsea tried to cut through us. We then see Ndombele in that advanced position with him in front of those two, hopefully being able to do what Chelsea would be trying to do to us, slip the ball in behind or manage to dribble with the ball and make something happen. On each side we have Sonny and Bergwijn. Like I said, I've been happy with Bergwijn's performances in recent weeks, as I feel like he doesn't hold on the ball for too much longer now and he actually releases it with some conviction in the right place. And obviously Sonny, hopefully he's on his A game. We didn't really see much about him against Brighton, but then we didn't really any other players. And then finally up top by himself, Jose has actually chosen Delicious Vinicius to start up top, which I was screaming out for last game because it took half a game for him to realise we need an actual striker on the pitch, so I'm very happy to see him starting. Obviously we know Chelsea will be fired up for this London derby, and we all know Alonso comes alive when he plays Tottenham, so hopefully Højbjerg will be bullying him and we will not see anything from him. On the bench to try and make an impact if things are going a bit sour, we have Roden, Lamela, Winks and Bale. Hopefully they do something, but we will have to wait and see. I feel like Bale tonight would be a great way for him to reignite the fire that Harry Redknapp's been talking about, and the fact that he just needs some confidence tonight would be great to see if he can do that. But yeah, not too shabby, the lineup. Game kicks off, and like most games at the moment, it was lifeless. Very early on, in fact, 14 seconds, the ball is pumped long, and Werner is in between both Toby and Dier and heads it. It's so easily done, but it does go over the bar. That's when I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be another long one. It also meant the way Chelsea had set up themselves with 5 at the back, their wing backs were going to be bombing on. And which side did they target the most? The side that Ben Davies was on, and it was not vibey to watch. The only player I thought was actually showing some true conviction was that of Stevie B when a corner is won by Chelsea. They ping the ball in, and from this we managed to defend it, and Stevie B has the ball and he goes on a mad run. He manages to beat one Chelsea player. He pushes forward, showing that quality that he has, passes inside to Vinny. Now Vinny runs and he kind of loses and leaves the ball behind him, so that was a bit gutting to see from Vinny. It was evident to see though that Chelsea were pinging crosses into the box pretty much all the time because they knew we can't defend them very well. We were luckily escaping them for the minute. On the 18th minute we see that Vinny manages to receive the ball high up the pitch after it's lumped forward, which kind of happens on the regular at the moment. We just boot the ball forward. Anyway, Vinny brings the ball down, he sees the run of Ndombele, pings it over to Ndombele, and I think Ndombele's trying to cross it, but instead it goes wayward towards the goal and Mendy manages to save it with a lot of ease. Now just after I thought we'd actually try and pick up some momentum here, I mean it wasn't a lot, but we were actually pushing forward out of our own half, this goes and happens. Dier. Oh my days. I just have one word. Egg. What is he even trying to do here? The fact that Werner's through and he thinks to himself, you know what, I'm on the floor, I could probably swipe at this to get it away. Mate, his legs are there and you've kebabbed his ankle, you absolute egg. As people have told me countless times, oh, just put a bit of faith into Dier, it's fine. He'll probably be one of our top centre-backs. I've said it, there's no commanding presence there. The man has no defensive brain, it seems. I really don't understand it. Tactically, his awareness is shocking, and I think that was just accounts for it. And the fact that the evidence throughout the game where he'd decide to wander up off the pitch to try and put a tackle in. Now, I don't know whether that's because the midfielders aren't pressing, but that's not your job, mate. Just stay in line, because then that meant that Højbjerg or Sissoko had to fill in, meaning that we were even further back as we were. The press off the ball is next to none. We pretty much might be in the morgue by now, if I'm honest, because that's what it felt like. And to be honest, the fact that if we were all there, Spurs fans, at the stadium right now, they'd be booing, because it was a disgusting performance in the first half, and throughout the first half there's nothing really else to report because it was just god awful. And in respects to Chelsea, I think I'd be a bit annoyed at Chelsea as well, the fact that they haven't been clinical enough. If I was a Chelsea fan and to think how bad we played in the first half, you'd actually be thinking to yourself, hang on a minute, how comes you're not really doing anything either? So all in all, first half performances, glad it's only one, let's be honest. I feel like Chelsea could have really turned up the gas, but nothing really came of it. Like I said again, it wasn't as if it was a brilliant play by Chelsea. I'm not discrediting Chelsea because I think Chelsea did play well, but their goal once again didn't come from a pure bit of brilliance or a shot from outside the box or something that you just got to hold your hands up and say, wow. Tonight, it was another defensive mistake, and that's just reoccurring. I told you, these players aren't good enough. To be honest with you, I think the players thought the game kicked off at bloody 9, let's be honest. Second half kicks off and we actually come out with a bit more desire to want to win the ball back, a bit more desire in wanting to press, but nothing really came of anything. Look a bit more positive, but that's all I could really say. There was no positive outcome from it. We just looked a bit more like, let's go and do something. Let's actually do what we're paid to do. The 8th minute, Chelsea have another brilliant chance to go 2-0 in front. Mount drives from his own half again, no one really around him managing to put a tackle in. Drives, he sees the run of Werner, slips it in behind. Werner's pretty much one-on-one with the keeper, but then you see the leg of Sergio Aurier to put a good tackle in, literally last ditch to stop the ball from going in the back of the net. And like I said, I've got a lot of praise for Sergio at the moment. The fact that he's actually come on from where he was, like I said, I think Doherty has actually managed to push him up to be like, you need to actually fight for your place, and fair play to him. I think Sergio's done quite well. Nothing I can really say about the other side. Then when I thought it couldn't get any worse for Dier decides to play a volley back to Lloris, and to be honest, it was our best chance on goal at our own net, because he fires it and it's too high for Lloris to chest, so he's quickly got to change his plan and head it out. I mean, if that doesn't cry out, Jesus Christ, needs to go in the bin right now, you've got to be hearing warning signs, because it was a mess. I mean, the reaction from Jose, I just hope that this makes him realise you need to stop making him your favourite, because he will never be good. Then, when I think life can't get any worse, we see Jose make two of the most insane subs I've ever seen in my life. He thinks that he should bring off Bergwijn, which I think Bergwijn tonight has played well on and off the ball, and that's regardless, considering how bad we have been. The fact he's managed to track back to try and put a tackle in when other players are just aimlessly walking around the pitch. And like I said, in the first half when he was actually bombing forward, but there was no one there to actually do anything with it, kind of highlights why I'm a bit miffed. By doing that, he brings Lucas on. And then if I'm not completely confused, I'm even more confused when he decides to bring Ndombele off, the player that's actually managed to nutmeg Mount, managed to actually have the ball, take players on and find a pass. There was one instance where he took on Mount 4 times because there was no option to play the pass because no one was moving off it. He then comes off and Lamela comes on. I mean, I don't really know what to do with myself at this point in time. You'd think he'd just take Vinny off and stick Bale up top. Do you know what I mean? And take Sissoko off, stick Lamela on and put Bale up top. That's what I thought. But anyway, I'm not Jose. But there we go. That completely baffled me. And from then on in, that was pretty much it. Nothing really happened the whole game. The one opportunity we had, it fell to Vinny when Serge in the 88th minute whipped a ball in. It finds the head of Vinny. You're thinking to yourself, this has got to go in. This is on a plate for his head. And it goes wide. And I'm thinking to myself, the thing that makes it even worse, that Lucas Moura's rising behind him like a salmon. But obviously, Vinny gets there first. So it definitely wasn't delicious Vinicius tonight. And I feel a bit gutted for him because that's probably the only good ball we actually put into the box all night. And that's probably the only thing that Spurs fans will remember about Vinicius tonight was that missed opportunity. But nevertheless, finally, the whistle blew. And that was it. Again, another loss. But I'm surprised that it was only 1-0. And that's how bad it's got at the moment. Because, again, it's just so disappointing. I know it's bad to look at it, but it would have been 0-0 if Dier didn't do something stupid like that. But there we go. We drop points again, and we just find ourselves falling down the table. Like I keep saying, I still don't think this squad is good enough. And I also think Jose is making some silly substitutions. I was happy with the lineup tonight. It just kind of all went downhill when we conceded that goal from another silly error. And I think that's what kind of happens. We concede a goal on a silly error, and that's it. Everyone's heads go down and they're thinking to themselves, oh shit, we're going to get a massive bollock in here. Which they should do, because those things were supposed to be ironed out and they're still not. But anyway, regardless, we look forward to Sunday against West Brom. So that should be fun. But anyway, until then, come on you Spurs.